Good morning, everybody. Once again, you are hearing and seeing Michael Laitler, and I'm so excited to be here for another Meet Our Community in the Leadership Inner Circle, where we're just trying to create a better brand, a better world for people through connection. If you're logged on, if you're watching, I know a lot of people said they were coming. Make sure you hit the like button, you share it, you comment, because as leaders, it's our jobs to lead others. It's our jobs to grow other people. And in the next 14 to 15 minutes or so, the guest I have on, that's the goal. We're going to help him grow. He's going to help you grow. And we're going to figure out how to just make all this better. So I will stop talking for a moment so I can bring him in. Let me take away a few of my icons. Bring in Ben. Bring up Ben's name. Bring up my name. Good morning, Ben. How you doing today? Thank you. Well, Leadership Inner Circle, our job is to introduce each other. Our job is to figure out a little bit more about you in particular. We kind of know about me. You've seen some videos about me. But Ben, who are you? Who do you want people to know you as?
Answer, I guess, would be the role I have, in the professional world. So I'm a coach, specifically life leadership coach. But I guess that's a very narrow answer, and that's why in the description I had put, husband, human, and hero. Husband being the latest role in life that I kind of took on about almost a year ago. And then human is obviously something that, we all share together. And that's also who I am in the sense that I'm living the same stuff that we're all living. So I have my ups and downs, and it doesn't matter how good a coach you are. You still face life and you still face difficult times. So, it's reminding me of my humanness. And then hero is the hero's journey. I don't know how familiar you are with this, but I'm a big fan of myth and legends and stories of heroes who have to overcome lots of hurdles and all that kind of stuff. So that's a broad answer, but I guess it's kind of the most well-rounded I can make.
Well, Ben, it's your answer, and that's the great part about this. What we're doing is that since it's your answer, it could be whatever you want it to be. It could be broad, it could be short, but it's your answer, and it's the perfect answer for you. And that's what really matters when we're trying to grow ourselves to grow others. We have to be able to convince ourselves first before we convince anybody of what we are, who we're trying to be. So the description, the title says leadership coach. So how did you enter into leadership coach? Because nobody wakes up being a leadership coach. How did you get into that?
So I was in investment banking a few years ago, and that's where I started my career, and quickly found that it really lacked meaning for me. I do say for me because I know some people really find a lot of meaning in this type of career. But for me, it felt really empty. And so I started going into inner search of, what I wanted to create in my life, and ask myself the questions that I never asked myself before. And actually, that's where leadership coaching started for me, because it started from inner leadership. When I say leadership, I don't necessarily think about I'm going to coach like a political leader or a CEO of an organization. I think about three different types of leadership: inner, outer, and other. So most of the time we think about other leadership. When we say leadership, we think, leading other people, leading groups, taking the lead of an organization. But actually, there's a lot of leadership that starts with the self. And, Amelie was talking about this before, actually. I was watching, and I really liked what she said about the self-discipline she kind of needed to write her book at the same time as she was doing all these other things. And it starts from yourself. It starts with yourself and starts from inside. And then outer leadership is how you show up in the world. And I had to do a lot of work there in terms of who I show up to be, and, the congruency, the integrity between what's inside, what I think and what I'm saying, and, being one's word and all of that. So leadership coaching, it started for me. To begin with, I started by myself, and I started for myself. I didn't think about becoming a coach. I just was trying to improve, I guess, my own life and create results that I wanted to create. And then quite naturally, everything I was discovering and coaching and change work and mindset and growth, you talked about growth,
Mhm.
like I just loved it so much that I guess naturally wanted to share that with others and help them also create what they wanted to create, whether it's professional or personal. So that's pretty much like how it started.
And that's great, Ben, because you took your dream, you took your passion, and you're making it into a career. So, a lot of us, I mean, especially in this group, Leadership Inner Circle, a lot of us are either doing the same thing, not necessarily leadership coach. I mean, I am, but not everybody. But we're all kind of transforming either into a new career or we're newly into it. What was that feeling like when you kind of realized I'm Ben. I want to be a leadership coach. Like, what was that feeling? Can you express that?
Mm. Well, yeah, I mean, I love what you share here in terms of the transition, and I think so many people are still living knowing that they're not doing what they love. Here, we're probably lucky in this community that you've put together that a lot of us are doing this, or at least we're close to doing something we love. For me, the feeling, I didn't wake up one morning thinking, this is what I want to do. I love this, blah, blah, blah. I guess I woke up one morning thinking, what the hell am I doing here? It was midnight and I was on changing colors on a PowerPoint, and then it just struck me that I was not in the right career.
Yeah.
Um, but after that, for me, it was more like you talked about the feeling, trying to describe the feeling. It's more like the thread. It's more like there was this little piece of rope coming out the wall, and it's
Mm,
like an interest, right? I read a book about NLP and I started reading a bit of Tony Robbins stuff, and I just got interested and I got curious, and I started pulling the thread more and more and more, pulling it out and, like, in a sense, following what I was interested in just as an interest initially. It wasn't a passion. It wasn't like anything grandiose. It was just something I really liked and connected with. And so I read more books and I booked some seminars and I started getting some teachers to help me and some mentors and on and on and on. And I just kept pulling the thread until at some point it just made sense. It was like, I just love this stuff so much. Okay, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna try, and since I didn't look back. So
and that's
it's,
amazing what you're
yeah.
saying, Ben, because when I think about the transition of careers, when I think about you doing your seminars, you're getting mentors, you're doing all the teaching, there's a point for all of us that we hit kind of a roadblock or we lose confidence in what we're doing. If you've experienced that before, like what have you been able to do to kind of tell yourself, you know what? I know my passion is what I want to do. I know I'm hitting a roadblock right now, but I'm going to overcome this. Like, do you remember doing anything or having that experience where you're just like, okay, this is my passion. I'm going to keep driving for it.
Oh yeah, the roadblocks. Yeah, I definitely had a few. Um, It's funny what I'm gonna share initially because that's the answer that came up. The first thing, the first way that I dealt with different obstacles on the way was to just try and sit it out. Just try and
Mm,
wait for the thing. It's the Stoic phrase of like, this too shall pass. It will pass. Like you get moments, you lose confidence, you start to feel like you're never gonna get there. You have all your heroes that are just like so much higher up than you, and you're just like battling with, initial level stuff. But actually this, for me, in my case, this confidence or this low, you could say, this dip in the wave, it passes. Like it just takes a few hours, a few days maybe of losing a bit of courage. But if you have, and I think that's the second part of the answer, if you have surrounded yourself with what I call kind of scaffolding, like a proper support structure,
scaffolding. Okay.
yeah, scaffolding. I don't know. I hope the connection's good. Um, yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
good, good, perfect. Keep going.
So if you've got like a support structure, I had my girlfriends, I had my coaching group. So I was being coached in a group with 6 other people
Mm-hmm.
that I really loved, and they were really all the time here, like peers, buddies, one or two teachers that I had. Overall, when you hit these walls and they're there to kind of like catch you, it just takes like a few hours or a few days to get back on track because the passion is still there in the background, but it's inevitable that every once in a while you lose faith a little bit. And I think being surrounded is a very important part of pursuing any passion, especially if it's a bit of an independent thing. You know, if you're an artist or if you're a coach or some kind of therapist or a writer, these are lonely, you know, they're vocations, but there are lonely professions, I would say. And so it is necessary to have people around you that can pick you up, but also kick your ass every once in a while.
And I agree. I'm with you. Not the kicking your butt part, but the picking you up part. But when we actually look at the people that we consider kind of how you said, kind of like out of our range, out of our league or something like that, they all have teams.
Yeah.
They all have support networks. They don't always talk about it, but actually, that's a challenge I have for anybody that's watching this, whether it's live or the replay. Look at some of these people that we look at as mentors or high achievers. Look at their real story. Take a look at if they're actually doing it by themselves.
Mm.
They're not. Trust me, there's not one. They might be the only one on stage at the time. They might be the one in front of the camera, but they have a team of people. And a lot of them collaborate. They have trainings together. They have speaking conferences together. They have workshops together. So I'm with Ben when things get tough. You have to have that support team around you because they're going to lift you up. They're going to kick your butt. They're going to do those things to kind of push you to that next level. And I think, Ben, you said it the best where since you had that team and you have that and you continue to have a team around you, that's where the strength lies. And that's kind of what I want out of this group. I want you guys to kind of form another bond. I mean, because this leadership coaching, entrepreneurship, stepping out, just being a leader is lonely the higher you go.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize that until they get into it and they're like, what is going on? This is crazy. But it takes that time. And I think there's two comments on there. One says self-discipline is the key. And I think that's very true because it really is. And something said by Stacy is the negative feeling does pass over time. But at the moment, it does feel like forever. And I'm with you. You said it earlier, Ben, where you said that after a few days, you feel different. And I think that is so important for people to realize. So, Ben, you're a leadership coach. You're getting over the hurdles. What's next for you?
So I've now joined early stage in an organization that we're really building a bit of a school of wisdom, self-discovery, self-mastery for any type of leader. And that's interesting when I say leader, right? I don't think about business because I think if you're an artist, like I work with some artists and like they need to be big leaders of themselves. And that's really, really tough because we tend to think, hey, I'm just going to paint this thing or I'm just going to let whatever it wants to express through me come out. And that's great. And that's beautiful. But again, your team is not going to do it for you. Every once in a while, they can help you come back on course, but they're not going to reach the goal if you're not the engine at the start. So for me, that's really, really in my heart. What's next for me is really at the moment to help develop that kind of institute, because the approach that we're teaching, which is very philosophical, is super inspiring to me. It's like great thinkers of history, but revisited in modern language. So we're building it up in London mostly, but we teach a little bit internationally. So we're coming your way in the US soon. We're doing a few programs in New York already, but and yeah, just got involved there because again, and that's part of like this interview and what I want people to know about me, I think, is for the last few years I was on my own, developing my own brand, my own practice, and it was sexy and I was very fulfilled in doing that. But it came a point where I thought, you know what, I feel I'm ready to step into something bigger and do something, contribute to a bigger vision than just my own. And this institute and the small team that was there was developing a much bigger vision than any individual on his own can come up with. And so that was part of my decision to go there. And so I'm not saying that any individual cannot dream super big, but for me, it's a question that I also want to ask like the community. to help them think in terms of what they have as a vision, is that, I want to say in a challenging way, is that all you got? In the sense, can you join a bigger vision? Can you contribute to something that actually goes beyond your own professional and personal dreams?
Yeah, so you guys heard it just now. Ben gave you a challenge. Can you think bigger? Can you look at a bigger vision? Can you see what's ahead rather than just what's right in front of you? And I think when you start thinking like that, you'll be able to join Ben, or he can join you. I mean, you heard it. He's going to be international. They already have programs in New York. I don't know if you're coming to Louisiana or not, but but you heard that
Not yet.
guy. I mean, remember, guys, Ben is out the UK, so he's available. He's available for travel if you guys want to collaborate. Remember, part of our community is forming that bond with people. So this is international. This is worldwide. This leadership inner circle. So you guys think about it. I put in the show notes the ways to contact Ben. I put his website on there as well as his LinkedIn. He'll put some more comments later on after this, but make sure that we reach out to each other, guys. Make sure that we're connecting. Make sure we're using this as a platform to establish more leadership, because unfortunately there will never be enough of us. Whether you have a coach of leadership, the title of leadership coach, you have a title of writer, doctor, real estate investor, real estate agent, there's never enough leaders to go around. So it's been great. Ben, do you have any parting words before we end?
Um, Thank you. And this is only the beginning.
Yes, I agree, guys. Just make sure, once again, you like. Well, let me make sure I'm in the screen. Make sure you like, you comment, you share. I will post this to YouTube, and I will send out the link so you can share it later. Make sure you guys hit up Ben. He is a leadership coach. He's there trying to make everybody better. So you guys have a great day, and make sure you're doing everything you can to collaborate. Thank you.